Andrew Humphries is the UK Trade and Investment Tech City Champion and also the co-founder of the Attitude Academy, which is teaching skills and confidence building amongst young people. And it's focused on achievement, but it's also unique because it's helping them achieve their own goals. And so, Andrew, please.
Good afternoon. Can you hear me? Just yet? Yeah, we're on. Should be on. 1, 2. There we go. We're on. Hi. How you doing? Good. It's fantastic to be here with this amazing bunch of makers. I'm afraid I can't claim to be a maker, but what I can do is, first of all, on behalf of the UK government and the Prime Minister's office, who a year ago came up with the Tech City initiative, welcome you here to Tech City, the east part of London, one of the most exciting and vibrant places where so much development and making is actually going on. And I hope that you guys are going to join in with that and help make Tech City and continue to make Tech City one of the most exciting places, certainly in the whole of Europe, that is creating and developing so much exciting stuff. A year ago, on the 4th of November, when Prime Minister David Cameron came up with the Tech City initiative, which was originally called the Silicon Roundabout. I don't know if you've heard about that, which was the Old Street Roundabout, where there was a little cluster of tech and digital businesses. Actually, when somebody went and counted them 3 years ago, there were 17. A year ago, there were 170. And today, as we sit here today in just under the shadow of the O2, in the whole of Tech City, we are now up to just under 700 tech and digital organizations that have grown in what is now the fastest growing tech and digital cluster anywhere in the world, which is incredibly exciting. It's happened organically, as my job as Tech City Champion is really to understand what some of those organizations need and want, and encourage that ecosystem. So hopefully I can help some of you guys as well if you're here to join that cluster. It's really a very exciting time. And that's more than 2 companies a day setting up in this little region that we're talking about here. And with the Olympics coming up next year and all the infrastructure that's going on, it's one of the most exciting times to be here in London. UK Trade and Investment is the UK government's part of the Business Information and Skills Department that encourages companies to come here and encourages and helps them export their products once they're here. I started working with them about 3 years ago. It was a unique experiment because they decided, unusually for government, to recruit some entrepreneurs. I'm actually a serial entrepreneur, and I'm starting my 3rd business as we speak. This is the Attitude Academy. I've been a coach, a motivational coach, for about 8 years. And I go into businesses which employ lots of people in their 30s and 40s who are dead miserable. Not like these smiling faces I can see in front of me. You're all obviously doing something you really enjoy and love, and that's why you're here, and that's great. But most companies employ people, and by the time they get to their 30s and 40s, they're sitting there thinking, why am I sitting at this desk doing this god-awful job? How did I get here? And so I tend to go in and help them make their minds up about why they're there and what their life's all about. And then after a couple of days of me talking to them, they say, this is fantastic. How come I didn't know this when I was 16? I could have benefited so much more from knowing this stuff. And I scratched my head and talked to a couple of my friends and said, we should do this for young people. It would really help young people in school to know how to create a vision for themselves, to be able to discover how they can actually get on with people in their lives, how they can feel happy about what they're doing. So we came up with the Attitude Academy. Interestingly, Britain, along with America, by the way, has some of the most unhappy children in the developed world. This is the most recent UNICEF report. You can see and just out of focus probably, United Kingdom right down at the bottom of this scale of how relatively unhappy children feel. The report said that we have very high levels of children with no parent in employment. We have a massive number of single and step-parent families. And what they also discovered was that there were many households that had fewer than 10 books in the family. And these things, they felt, contributed to the lack of awareness and decisiveness in what children were doing. What we found is that actually if you coach children at that age, between 13 and 18, it can make a massive difference. This is Annette West. She is the principal of Leeds West Academy. Amazing lady. And in 2009, she took a failing school and took all of the adults in that school, including the administrators and the catering workers, and said, right, everybody is going to become a coach in this school, and we're going to mentor these young people that we have here. We went to a fascinating event with her where she told us that when she first took over this school, the children wouldn't even say good morning. They would walk in with their heads down, and that school was in the lowest 5% of performance. Now, after a year and a half of everybody coaching, this is a turnaround school. From 12% of children achieving 5 grade A to C O-levels, now 87% of children achieve a massive, that same 5 A to C O-levels. It's an amazing turnaround, and she attributes it all to the way in which her whole environment turned around coaching and mentoring. So it can make a massive difference. The problem is that traditionally coaching has been done on a very one-to-one basis. When I go into talk to businesses, it's, I can do a little pitch like this, but typically the real difference comes when you sit down and talk to people. So what we're doing, and what this all comes round to, is we're using technology and the kind of stuff that you're doing, all the great stuff that I've seen some of you guys doing, using Popcorn and some of the other Mozilla facilities, to turn around coaching, a traditionally an offline environment, into a very much an online social interaction using new and the latest technologies. And that's what the Attitude Academy can bring, because otherwise we wouldn't be able to get the scale and the cost down of what is traditionally a very expensive element that happens in businesses to expensive executives down to 13 to 18-year-olds. And that's exactly what we're doing. So I'm really pleased to say that the Attitude Academy is doing that. One of the ways we do it is we work with the corporates, and we take their people, those 35 to 40-year-old miserable people, we take them and we stick them in front of a group of screaming children. And I tell you what, it's the best coaching methodology that you can do. If you take a miserable guy and you make him happy enough to stand up in front of some children and coach them, it benefits everybody. It benefits the children and it benefits the guys themselves. So it's a great thing. It takes both the online and offline and meshes them together in a way that hasn't been done before. And only this kind of technology and the stuff that you're working on and the kind of things that you're making is going to make this kind of thing possible. So I'd like to thank you. I'd like to thank all the developers that are working on the Attitude Academy right now, making this a possibility. And I urge you to continue your great works, doing these kinds of things. Some of the things we've seen over the last couple of days, really, really exciting. And welcome to Tech City. And thank you very much indeed.